Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are still in a war with Bengal and... Everything okay over there? Alright, cool. We are still in a war with Bengal and Russia. Russia does have war support protection? Yes. But Bengal does not. And... Hey, there's malaria intervention. Ooh, excellent. So that means our colonial growth is going to go way up over here. I'm going to queue in the final level of that. Oh, we got our... Oh, because we got socialism. Interesting. 231... Yeah, we got almost exactly enough to get all the way up to the top. So we'll start with that stuff. We finished our skyscraper. This will end in 5 months. We're at 15%. I'm going to hit the suppress button. It's going to cause a little bit of radicalization, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. What else is... Ah, yes, the Bragancan proletarian revolt. Ooh. Alright, but first, let's talk about tech. I definitely want the telephone. Ooh, I want electrical capacitors. That's... No, I want the telephone more than electrical capacitors, because I want radio. Are we done with Tier 3 for production? We are. So I think I'm going to grab railway straight after, and then electric railway. And then circle back to military to grab some better production methods. I think I want... Yeah, I think the next thing I want is sea lane strategies, because that's good for Navy, and then defense in depth. And we'll go from there. Ooh. Joining the scramble for Africa. When I see that Portugal's growing colonial empire in Africa, along with new means to prevent malaria, has made us a serious contender for colonial control of the continent. When I see this continent, I see a raw, unworked material from which anything can be carved. But, as often when working with rough materials, mishaps are inevitable. Something breaks, blood is spilled. Portugal isn't so squeamish as to let a bit of blood get in the way of ambition, are we? Bring out the maps and strategies. So, we got the scramble for Africa. At this point, I don't think much is going to come of that, but we'll see. Oyo sides with Fuder Toro over something. Huh, look at this flag. That is curious. I don't recognize that. I think that's... It's an unusual flag for them, and I'm not sure what it's about. In any case, I'm going to go ahead and ignore this situation. This is Tripolitania having a rebellion. I'm going to ignore that. Sulu once again is descending into war. We'll go ahead and ignore that. This is the San Marco situation, which has just popped off. Alright, so where is our... Where is the Army of East Africa? I think they're in... No. They're staged in Oman. They're staged in Oman for the situation over there. I think I'll go ahead and put them in Braganca. That should be fine. Gosh, my financial situation is doing real bad. Hmm. 13K in interest. Don't love that. You got 30K in additional expenses. That's, again, from the purchase of the canal, which should be ending soon. Visitors from the colonies. Intellectuals from Kassanja are visiting our capital, arguing that the case that their home country is far more civilized than we make it out to be, and that our colonial designs on them are unjustified. It is quite baffling, I must say, to hear you speak of being robbed when Portugal brings you the greatest gift of all, the gift of civilization. The Kassanja gentleman leaned in and responded bitterly, I have seen the ships that arrive at our shores, and I have seen the ships that leave. This civilization you are bringing must be very light, but the price we pay for it seems to be quite heavy indeed. It's all affectations and lies, send them back immediately. Decays relations and makes the trade unions and intelligentsia unhappy. Or perhaps there's some value in hearing their perspective, reduced Colony growth speed. Don't want to reduce colony growth speed, so we'll say it's all expectations and lies. So let's take a look at this. We're moving very fast from a colonial perspective now. So we're very close to getting these linked up. And hopefully, if we can get the rest of Botswana colonized, we'll be able to continue moving. Alright, so it's about 50 days per province. So again, if we can, I want to ideally cut off the French here and here, so we can get everything we want to get in that territory. We are continuing to press on Bengal. Bengal does not have war support. Oh, they do. Return Bengali Rajputana. Where is Rajputana? Here. No. Where is it? I can see the border is here, but where's the rest of the state? Is it this? Yes. Alright, so we need to occupy that area. I'm going to set that as my strategic objective in Bengal. That's going to help things a lot. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh, we got a lot of events. We got a lot of events, friends. Ending the slave trade. Abel Ivins, leader of the trade unions and a well-known opponent of the global slave trade, argues that our colonial ambitions in North Angola should be leveraged towards ending the practice on the continent. Ending slavery within our own borders is a meager victory in the grand perspective of human history. As long as there are countries in this world willing to sell slaves, there will be countries coming to buy them, and vice versa. The concept must be stamped out wherever it can be found, so that eventually it can be stamped out from the human soul itself. We have a duty to end slavery wherever our power reaches, increase colonial growth, and trade unions happy. Tensions between Cassange and Portugal increased. Practical diplomacy must supersede such moralist sentiments. Trade unions unhappy, or the local slave trade can be a good source of workforce for our local projects. 30% plantations throughput in North Angola. I'm going to go with the first one, because I love that colony growth speed. Industrial barriers. Factories in Extremadura have been reported to be placing Zulu people into roles with incredibly poor working conditions, owing to their status as second-class citizens in Portugal. I know. Us businessmen have a reputation for only caring about the bottom line, and that may be true for some, but the way I see it, any venture must be built on a strong foundation of values. The Zulu people don't understand those values. How could they? They're our values. This unequal treatment cannot stand. Ooh, that'll weaken the Catholic Church. So I don't want to do that. They're lucky they're given any job at all. This isn't great. -2 standard of living. It's going to have to be done. A famous cafe. After a chance meeting in a cafe and a thoughtful conversation, Caetano da Costa has recommended that someone who is currently residing in Portugal be granted permanent residency. Ah, yes. The ruler of character traits, interest group, politically unaligned, ideology, country, culture, religion, popularity neutral, age 1,915 years old. What an interesting character. We're in the good place here right now. All right. If you're in need of a place to stay, I could hardly neglect to offer you an invitation. It would be shameful for me to, following such a magnificent correspondence, to fail to pursue your talents further. So do we have a slot open? We do. I'm going to see who gets into this slot. We could hardly ask for more esteem. Ooh, landowners stronger. Don't want that. Oh, so I could make the landowners salty. And make them stronger. I don't want to make them stronger, so unfortunately I can't meme this event too bad because I don't want to strengthen my landowners because those guys are goofs. Gifts among friends. An internal investigation has discovered that a government official received many gifts from Caetano da Costa on behalf of the Anti-British Association. The official leading the investigation details his findings. Does Caetano da Costa have no integrity? Among the gifts sent, the following was found. A half-dozen parcels of cloth, a carving knife, a pocket knife, 5 pairs of gloves, 23 barrels of salt, and a dozen bottles of Portugal's finest colonia water. Is this not bribery in support of the Anti-British Association's cause? They've done nothing suspect. 5% of landowners become more loyalist. Or perhaps the leader should step down. He resigns. 5 extra legitimacy. I'll go for the legitimacy. I like that. That didn't help. Oh, we got replaced with the market liberal. That's why. Interesting. Well, it is what it is. These things happen. Alright, so we'll see if... Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oppressor and oppressed. As our industries have grown more and more crucial to the future of the Portuguese nation, so too has the working class. Desperate workers' movements have begun to unite under the cause for socialism. The development of modern industry, therefore, cuts from under its feet the very foundation on which the bourgeoisie produces and appropriates products. But the bourgeoisie produces, therefore, above all, are its own grave diggers. Its fall and the victory of the proletariat are equally inevitable. A storm approaches, 5% of laborers in Extremadura become more radical, and now we have a spectre haunting the world, the event chain. The rising prevalence of socialist unrest within Portugal has begun to coalesce into a movement that threatens the rule of the upper classes. Struggle between classes has acquired a sharper edge as Portuguese workers adopt the methods and principles of the socialist movement. The voices of the proletariat cry out for liberty, for equality, and for bread. Workers of the world, unite. So this will fail if the bar has reached 100%. If failed, will trigger an event called A World to Win, and communist, anarchist, and vanguardist characters will appear much more frequently. If time runs out, triggers an event called Firebreak. The Portuguese socialist movement will be weakened for the near future. So, we're getting 0.8 progress per month on average from states in turmoil. So, what does that mean? 0.8 per month. We got 36 months. So we're going to get less than 36, that's for sure. The GenCat math hours away, 30.8. So that's going to hit, yeah, that's going to put us right at 40%, and that's going to be just fine. So if our amount of turmoil doesn't increase, that should be just fine. All right, again, if we can get a hold, oh, actually. Put my main force over here to increase our force comparison in this area, because again, if we can get this tiny patch of land, we'll be good to go. And then where's my other army? Oh, Marana Real Portuguesa has become disorganized again. Ejército Portugués, where are you? You're over there. I'm also going to put you on this front. That's going to weaken our force comparison on what I was considering the main front before, but this is really the main front because of... Oh my goodness, look at all this. Hey, we're winning for Canada. We're winning with Canadian help. Excellent. Losing over here against Russia, but with Portugal on the case, we will for sure be able to achieve what we wish to achieve. Mission to Africa. Gosh, we are being inundated with events. Mission to Africa. A group of Christian missionaries want to bring the salvation of the Gospels to our colony in the Transvaal. We do not believe that everyone is entitled to salvation because we must be free to reject it. But I do believe that everyone is entitled to the choice. We must not, cannot, sit idle in Portugal where there are yet unenlightened heathens in this world. If the colonial project is truly a moral one, as you claim, then surely all moral instruction must begin with this choice. Spreading the true faith is a vital part of the colonial project. Extra conversion and migration attraction in unincorporated states. Catholic Church happier and stronger. Tensions increased by a tiny amount. Or we're there for the glory of Portugal, not the glory of God. Catholic Church, salty, tensions decrease. I'm going to go with spreading the true faith. Get us a little bit extra conversion over there. Alright. That's the Braganca Liberal Revolt finished out. I'm going to have this army continue to putz around overseas. We're losing that battle there, but come on, we should be able to kick off a new battle where we're doing some real damage here. See, my units are not in this battle, but hopefully it'll have itself sorted out soon. Oh my goodness, a brazen expedition. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Ottoman Empire has proposed mutual investment rights. Interesting. Decline. Alright, looks like we are winning here. We got very significant offensive comparison, so I'm happy about that. This is a peasant revolt in Ashanti. Unfortunately, I can do nothing about this, so we will just go ahead and declare neutrality. A brazen expedition. A British expedition in Portuguese East Angola has encountered our own troops, suggesting their colonial ambitions in the region are in conflict with our own. It was not merely a hostile encounter, quite the contrary. They seemed quite happy to meet some other people and, well, I suppose you could call it the same business. Business? Have they forgotten that they are soldiers? Do they believe the colonization of the African continent is a collaborative effort? If our armies meet in contested territory does not constitute a hostile encounter, our diplomats over in Ulster shall have to be twice as hostile to make up for it. I'm sorry. Excuse me? The capital of the British Republic is where? In Ulster? Oh my goodness. What is happening over there? Oh my gosh. Wait, is this... Okay, no, it's still not an Irish culture technate. But, okay, they got cultural exclusion, so the Irish are accepted. They must turn back at once. This will give us 14 infamy. Oh, that hurts. The British Republic will get an event. Or there's enough land for everyone in Portuguese East Angola. Portuguese East Angola. You know, I can take the prestige hit. I don't care that much. It's fine. The British are our friends. Alright, so how's this fight going? It's going well. We are pressing forward. And again, Bengal is the target location here, because that's going to put Bengal out of the war. Oh, we're not getting our war reparations because we're technically at war with them. Alright, that is the end of the Positivist Church event chain, a peculiar cult. After a brief period of prominence, the positivist trend in Portugal has begun to decline, as middle-class reformers seek other frameworks for the analysis of their problems. With its fading popularity, the Positivist Church will soon be regarded as just another ephemeral cult. For sale, Temple of Humanity, deconsecrated. Beautiful location in the heart of Lisbon, sturdy design and spacious. Can host hundreds of like-minded people for any gathering. Perfect for an up-and-coming school. Open to inquiries. Another grand design faded into obscurity. Interest groups will no longer be more likely to select positivist characters. Armed forces weaker, or they will chase their impossible dreams forevermore. Armed forces only a little weaker. I'm going to go with the second one. Armed forces are in the government, so I'm not super worried about that. All right. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We got so many events. Behind bars, the arrest and alleged ill treatment of a disorderly protester affiliated with the movement to enact mass conscription has sparked resentment among his compatriots. Further demonstrations have been arranged urging his release. Prison was a miserable place. Iron bars, stone walls, and cold floors. In the past few weeks, the guards had taken to casually tapping their batons against the bars when they passed by, making sleep impossible. He could not even escape in his dreams, as the tension he felt in the waking world began to bleed into sleep as well. And all this for pushing a policeman away? He'd regretted it at first. Now, though, perhaps he could say that every one of them deserved that and more. Perhaps an early release for good behavior can be arranged. Weaker landowners unhappy, reduced movement radicalism. Or we will not make exceptions because of some hooligans, slightly increased movement radicalism. Armed forces happy. I'm going to go with the second one. Happy armed forces makes a sturdy and solid nation. Alright. Insubordinate jingoist. An officer in our African colonies has intentionally provoked confrontation with Setswana, despite instructions to keep the peace. We can either save face by going along with the officer's plot or recall him, admit that we lost control of the situation, and upset the jingoists. Never mind the missives of the weak-minded fools in the capital. Everything I've accomplished during these campaigns was done in spite of the ministry, not because of it. We have no choice but to attack Setswana, increase tensions, or recall the officer and end the madness, reduce prestige, armed forces unhappy. I'm going to go with the first one. So, let's go ahead and get the... I don't need to move the Army of East Africa yet, but that's going to pop off at some point for sure. Alright, we are continuing to win this battle. So I think this and probably one more, and then we'll have Bengal fully occupied. Or Bengali Rajputana. Yeah, because then we got another battle kicking off. We look to be winning that one as well. We're at about 50% occupation. Tripolitania is in default. Relation improvements are looking good. Money Peasant Revolt is in default. Not my problem. Might be one more, because we only have about 50%. We have a peace deal in the works. White peace. Ah, but I'm so close, Britain! Okay. Well, I want to get those war operations, so I'll probably do it. But the first thing I'm going to do is get the Ejército Portugués moving to Oman. And where's my fleet? We're going to get them on our way to the Gulf. Now I'm going to go ahead and accept. Alright. So, that gets... Alright, well the Ejército Portugués has gone back here, but, let me see, has the army of... No, of course, these guys are way off in the middle of nowhere. Let's go ahead and naval invade here. And that'll be just fine. It might have been a mistake not to use the Ejército Portugués, but it'll be good. Alright, so now we are getting those war reparations, and it's worth a pretty penny, 71k. So I'm very pleased with that outcome. I may be able to reduce taxation soon. Oh, I hadn't figured for the fact that they were still on land. That was probably a mistake. Oh well. This Yogyakarta situation, I think I couldn't possibly be involved in. I don't want to. Again, I don't want to demobilize because I want to. It's going to be 3 months, and once I take back this territory, we'll be just fine. I don't want to invest in you, Kanak. Whew. Sorry, I'm going fast. I'm trying to make up for lost time here. Alright. So, situation Jabal Shamar is not going to be involving me. Alright, let's go ahead and land. And that's the end of the war, and that's the end of my spiraling costs. So, money is looking rock solid. Oh, money's looking great. Now, I have a decision to make, because here's the thing. If I hit the annex button right now, only Belgium and Venezuela are likely to stand against me. And honestly, the temptation is extremely high to do it right now, because I don't think Bengal can stand against me, because we've got a truce. And I don't think Russia can stand against me because they're not here. And the United States is actually preferable towards me. So I think now is actually time to press the button. I'm spending a lot on interest, but my finances are okay. I've got the extra cash coming in from Bengal. So I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna pull the trigger. Boy, I hope this works. 48.5 infamy. It's not that much. It's only gonna take us to level 2. Alright, I'm doing it. Alright. So, what kind of an army does Brazil have? 67 battalions. And they're rocking lancers and skirmish infantry. Oh my goodness. Conscription centers, it doesn't say. Wait, hold on. I can look at this. I can look at this. Let me see. Line and skirmish infantry, shrapnel artillery, lancers. And then, yeah, skirmish infantry, cannon artillery, shrapnel artillery, lancers. Alright, so I am superior in weapons technology. I'm going to send the Ejército Portugués. I'm going to mobilize the auxiliary division of Iberia. I am going to mobilize the army of East Africa, but I'm going to garrison them in Portugal. I'm going to bring the Marina Real Portuguesa over to Rio de Janeiro. And then we're just going to do the same thing we did last time. Obviously, we're going to potentially have problems with other countries. There are people we can bring in. We can bring in the British Republic, which would be very good. And we can potentially bring in Spain, which would also be very good. I also suspect if Belgium steps in, we'll be able to bring in the French. But at the moment, no one has stepped in, so I'm feeling pretty okay overall. Alright, Belgium sides with Brazil. Barotsa diplomatic play. Not a great time for this, to be completely honest. Army of East Africa, why don't you go over here? So that you can finish that out when it happens. Yeah. And in that case, we'll put the Marina Royale in the Bay of Biscay. I don't like that we got a little bit more infamy than we were supposed to. Oh my goodness, the French and British are fighting. This is a disaster. No! The people I needed for my diplomatic play. No! Alright. We are in the maneuvers phase. Spain, what do you want? Transfer of Galicia. Oh, absolutely not. That's my core, Spain. You can't have my core. Of course, now the British aren't interested. Alright, let's see what the force comparison looks like once my army actually gets here. Paraguayan mass immigration. Ooh, excellent. This is really good because we are... I'm going to put this army on defense for the time being. And we got allies coming in, but we also got a Belgian army coming in. I do need to leave a force in Portugal. Well, actually, what kind of a fleet does Belgium have? Not much of one. So actually, it should be fine. Greek mass immigration, wonderful. I'm actually going to have this army go to the other side of Barotsa, just to make sure that they get there. Spain sides the French Empire in this diplomatic play, okay. Slavery and colonial labor. Despite our proclaimed goal of ending the slave trade in Africa, recent reports suggest that laborers in Portuguese Bas-Congo are in all but name slaves under our own colonial administration. The young man who'd been scribbling furiously suddenly seemed lightheaded and gestured to the interpreter to stop. You'll have to excuse me. This must all be documented, but being new to the continent, I'm unaccustomed to hearing of such savage behavior. The interpreter seemed confused for a moment and turned back to explain the interruption. The old local man he was interviewing responded, and the interpreter turned back to the young man. He says he was not accustomed to it either, until your countrymen arrived. This is utter hypocrisy. These abuses must end. Landowners unhappy, trade unions happy, extra standard of living for the lower strata in Bas-Congo, reduced plantations throughput. Or it may seem similar, but the hard work we provide builds character. Ugh. Alright, I'm going to go with the first one. Getting a little extra standard of living is nice. Alright, so with a Belgian army on the way, this is going to take a turn. I'm going to go ahead and put our other army on the front. just to make sure that we're good to go. Then once the thing in Baratza is dealt with... Hey, workplace safety is up. I got a lot of money. Hey, we're golden. Nice. And we got allies coming to the front, so it should be fine. I got another fleet on the way. Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So, first, arming the natives. We've discovered that our rivals in Bengal have begun arming the non-natives in Portuguese Namaklan. This is likely to impede our efforts to conquer the region. The non-natives have never truly welcomed our presence, but without the means to mount a truly effective resistance, we've paid little heed to their objections. The addition of Bengali munitions into the equation comes with a frightening possibility that we must face them on equal terms. We should de-escalate the situation, or if they want to fight, they'll get one. I'm going to say if they want to fight, we'll get one. This damages relations with Bengal, but, you know, that is what it is. As long as I've got my fleet in the Bay of Biscay, nobody's going to invade Portugal proper. So, I think I'll be good. I think I'll be able to do everything I wish to do. 2 arms. Ottoman Empire sides with the British Republic. Let me see. Could theoretically support either side. The only thing British Republic's willing to give me is war goals. Same with the French. So, I'm going to be neutral on this. I don't wish to get involved. As you will understand, assuredly. So, they are attacking and we are winning. And our units are here once again. I'm going to set this army to adamant defense for the time being as our force comparison improves. Germany's getting involved in this situation. Uruguay is calling them in as an ally. I don't think I need to get involved in that. In fact, the force comparison is improving significantly. So I'm feeling pretty pleased about that. There's the war with Baratza. So this should sort itself out in extremely good time. I'm hoping. Ooh, the historic party is formed once again. Partisan papers. Oh my gosh, and we've got electrical capacitors. That's actually super duper good. How much time have we got? We're actually over time, and we've barely even finished 1 year. So, partisan papers. Party-affiliated newspapers have been proliferating during this election season. Publications associated with the Portuguese Catholic Center have been particularly effective in spreading the party line. Read all about it. Honest politicians attacked by shameless cowards. Leading candidate for office issues heartwarming appeals to the common man's heart. Man on campaign trail pets a puppy. Read all about it. The Portuguese Catholic Center has used the papers brilliantly, 10% momentum. Newspaper circulation is through the roof. This is a boon for publishers. Paper mills throughput, or it is in the state's interest to promote the truth. 20% momentum, and then we got this available because we got censorship enacted. I'm going to go with the third one to get our main party more momentum. Next, electrical capacitors means way more output for textile mills at a cost of electricity and also a little bit of labor savings. So we're going to go ahead and pull that trigger. And I'm going to hope that the private sector builds up enough power plants for this to work. All right, let's get exporting some clothes. Well, there sure are a lot of countries who will buy my clothes. North Germany, absolutely. America, France, Britain, Sicily. Start us some frickin' trade routes. I'm going to throw some more... No, I'm not going to put more ports into operation. I'm going to change the production methods of the ports I got. because I actually have access to the modern port production method, and I've got plenty of oil to support it. So that's going to give us a bunch more convoys. It's going to give us a bunch more convoys. Going to give us a bunch more convoys. Hey, there it goes. Beautiful. Alright, that'll be just fine. Alright, force comparison here is looking a ton better. So let's go ahead and put these armies on advance. Alright, 3 more events and then we'll call the episode. I just need another sip of water. Delicious water. Language in the classroom. U.S. students sometimes use their native language in Portuguese schools. Some have called for teachers to penalize the use of these languages, forcing children to speak the official language of Portugal. You've noticed it too, right? He gets angry when anyone talks in class, but he always gets angrier when we're talking. Maybe he thinks we're talking about him. I think he just doesn't like being reminded that we know something he doesn't. Schools should teach them the proper language, increase assimilation, increase radicals from discrimination. 20% of UA pops in Portugal become more radical, or their language is part of their heritage. Angry petite bourgeoisie, angry Catholic Church, reduced assimilation, reduced radicals from discrimination. I'm going to go with the first one. I'm also going to put budget back to Midland, taxation back to Midland. That should bring standard of living back up. An exile at the gates. The relatively lenient Portuguese immigration system has long been attractive to those fleeing their home nations. Recently, Giulio Bezzi has petitioned to join the stream of people moving to Portugal. It was one name on a very, very long list. One that had been passed through multiple layers of bureaucracy before being noticed. One fateful day, however, one clerk at the end of his shift pointed to the name and spoke those fatal words. I could swear I've heard of him before. Eventually, Giulio Bezzi, too, will be Portuguese, or we will not have someone like this regardless of precedent. That makes the industrialists a little salty. Industrialists are feeling fine. Bezzi, you are a former associate with the... Oh, he's 72. It'll be fine. Let him come. Problematic police. Police officers in uniform have been discovered supporting Portuguese North German Association activities while on duty, lowering public confidence in the police force. A resident of Extremadura comments on members of the police force that patrol that walk by in pristine uniforms with a hint of arrogance in their gait. Disdain drops from the onlooker's voice. These officers sure think highly of themselves. They carry out errands for the Portuguese North German Association and accept their gifts. They ignore their duty to the people of Extremadura. As long as everything is discreet, there's no harm. 5% of pops in Extremadura become radical. Portuguese relations toward the North German Federation improved by 5. Or we need to restore the public's confidence. Reduce the appeasement of the association. 5% of pops become loyalist. I'm going to go with the second one, because loyalist pops is great. Alright, that is all the time we got for this episode. My nerds, I've had fun. I hope you've had fun, and I'll see you on the other side.